You know, it's funny how transformation, it's like it's everywhere, right? Like you hear it in every industry, at every conference. It's like this buzzword, just throw it onto a PowerPoint slide and boom, instant impact. But what are we really talking about here? When we say real meaningful transformation, what's going on beneath the surface?
Yeah, it's definitely more than just a catchy phrase or, a new marketing campaign. It's not about just appearances.
Right.
It's about looking deep down into the DNA of an organization and reshaping it from the inside out.
Okay, so we're not just talking about rearranging the office furniture here.
No, no, no. We're talking about the structure, the technology, the entire mindset of an organization. And that's no small feat.
That's a tall order. And for this deep dive, we're lucky enough to be joined by Lisa McFarland. She's spent over a decade leading these massive transformation initiatives, specifically in the medical device industry.
Oh, wow. Talk about a pressure cooker. That's an industry where the stakes are incredibly high.
Absolutely. Intricate regulations, cutting edge technology, not to mention people's lives are on the line. If you can navigate transformation in that world, you must have some serious wisdom to share.
For sure. And one of the things that Lisa McFarland emphasizes is the importance of asking the right questions from the get-go. Don't wait for problems to pop up. Anticipate them.
Be proactive, like a chess player thinking several moves ahead.
Exactly. And it's not just about the big picture stuff either. Lisa digs into the details. Are we on track with the budget? What about the timeline? Are there any hidden risks we haven't considered?
The devil's in the details, as they say.
Absolutely. But here's where Lisa's insights get really interesting. She also emphasizes the human side of transformation.
Because it's not just about systems and spreadsheets, is it? It's about people.
Exactly. It's about understanding who needs to change within the organization and how you're going to equip them to do that. That means crystal clear communication is non-negotiable, especially when things get bumpy, which, let's face it,
They always do. Change can be unsettling. How you guide people through that process is crucial.
100%.
It's like you can't expect people to just flip a switch and be comfortable with massive change overnight, right?
Changeley. It's not like turning the lights on and off.
Yeah.
And this leads to another one of Lisa's key insights, which is that transformation isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. You have to customize the approach for each organization.
Like you wouldn't wear, I don't know, a winter coat in the middle of summer, right?
Yeah.
You've got to pick the right approach for the specific situation. So how does that actually work in practice? How do you tailor something like a transformation?
Well, it starts with recognizing that each organization has a unique culture, its own history, its own way of doing things.
hmm
So you can't just come in with some generic plan and expect it to work. You need to get people invested in the change. They need to understand the why behind it, and they have to feel heard throughout the process.
So it's really about building a sense of ownership at every level, not just dictating from the top down.
Exactly, exactly. And, we can't forget the role of technology in all of this, because it's not just about adopting the latest gadgets just for the sake of it, right?
Right.
It's about finding the tools that truly streamline things, making people's lives easier, making their jobs more efficient, more fulfilling even.
Yeah, like finding that perfect app that suddenly makes your to-do list manageable. Okay, so we've talked about making things smoother. So let's talk about the potential benefits of transformation. I mean, it's not just about change for the sake of change, is it?
Not at all. Lisa talks about how when transformation is done well, you can see increased efficiency across the board. And we're talking smoother processes, everything's more streamlined, it saves time, it saves money, it saves resources. And then there's that whole challenge of adopting new systems, which we've all been through. But when it's done right, when everybody's aligned, you see this incredible synergy that emerges.
So it's not just about avoiding chaos, it's actually about unlocking this whole new level of effectiveness.
Exactly. And I love how Lisa emphasizes not just the business outcomes, the bottom line stuff, but also the human impact. Because happy employees, engaged employees, that's a sign of successful transformation too, isn't it?
Yeah, because if people are miserable, they're not going to be as productive, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that feeds directly into her point about gaining a competitive edge. When you have a team that feels energized, aligned, equipped with the right tools, they're able to adapt to market changes, customer needs, everything. They're nimble, they're ready for anything.
So it's not just about keeping up, it's about becoming the leader of the pack. Now, Lisa's also very honest about the challenges of transformation, right? Because it's not always easy.
It definitely isn't. She talks about resistance to change, which is completely natural. People get comfortable with the way things are. It's human nature. And then there's the issue of limited resources, time, budget, all of that.
Yeah, if those aren't managed carefully, things could easily go off the rails.
Absolutely. But you know what? I think the biggest takeaway here, and Lisa really hits on this, is the importance of a crystal clear vision. Without it, you're just changing for the sake of changing.
You mean like everyone needs to understand the why behind the transformation?
Yes, without that shared understanding, it just leads to confusion and frustration, and that helps nobody.
Yeah, it's like you're just wandering aimlessly hoping you bump into a solution instead of having a plan to get there.
100%. And that brings us to another critical aspect that Lisa stresses, measuring the success of your transformation. Because it can't just be a gut feeling.
Right. You
Yeah.
need some hard data to back it up. You can't just stroll into a meeting and be like, yeah, trust me, everything's better now. So what kind of evidence should we be looking at? What does Lisa recommend?
Well, she's all about the data, looking at the numbers, but not just in a vacuum. Like, yeah, our financials improving, that's always good. But what about those operational metrics, things like productivity? How smoothly are things actually running? And what are the customers saying? Are they happy?
So it's about getting a full 360-degree view of the situation.
Exactly. And, I think what's really insightful is that Lisa doesn't just stop at the business impact, profits and losses. She's also really interested in measuring the human impact. How is the transformation affecting employee engagement? Are people finding more meaning in their work? Is there less turnover?
Because those things matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are all positive signs that the transformation is actually creating a healthier, more fulfilling work environment for everybody, not just about the bottom line.
It's about creating a win-win. Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to circle back to leadership because it seems like strong leadership is key to making these transformations stick. What are your final thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's not just about having leaders, it's about having the right kind of leadership in place. Lisa really emphasizes vision, adaptability, the ability to inspire. These leaders, they need to be the ones steering the ship through rough waters, communicating clearly every step of the way, and fostering that sense of ownership that we talked about.
It's about empowering people, not just bossing them around. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. So if we could leave our listeners with just one key takeaway from all of Lisa's insights, what would it be?
I think is that transformation, it's a journey, not a destination. It's going to be messy and challenging, full of unexpected twists and turns along the way. But with strong leadership, a clear vision, and that willingness to adapt, to continuously learn and grow, the rewards, they can be huge. It's about really embracing the process of becoming, not just checking boxes.
It's about transforming. I love that. That's such a great point to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been fantastic.